We do have a weather impact alert in effect with strong to severe thunderstorms across portions of West Texas, especially pushing east as we go in throughout much of the day. We have some different timing and even different impacts across portions of West Texas. So for the Permian Basin, we're going to see those storms start to initiate around 3 p.m. They're going to slowly push off in towards the east and be out of the region by 8 p.m. With that, I think we'll even see a few isolated storms form along into the Big Country Contra Valley by around 3 to 4 p.m. More of a line as we see as those storms will push from the Permian Basin by around 7 p.m. to about 2 a.m. with the threat of large hail, possibly even in some instances, very large hail could be possible with some gusty winds near 60, maybe even 70 miles an hour. And we just cannot rule out a couple isolated tornadoes, especially in those isolated severe thunderstorms that we could see that will form into around the late afternoon into the early evening. So the thing that you need to do is make sure you stay updated with us throughout the majority of the day. And one way you can do that is by downloading that NewsWest 9 Plus app, and that can be one of the apps that you could have to be able to have those multiple ways to receive those weather alerts. First things first though, even with into our western counties, we'll have a couple chances of a few isolated showers or storms today. Nothing severe though, but I do anticipate we'll work with some very breezy conditions, gusty winds near 40 to 50 miles an hour up into portions of Carlsbad, Alpine, Guadalupe Mountains. That'll be gusting up to near 60 miles per hour as we go throughout the majority of the day between around 1 p.m. to about 1 a.m. tonight. We do have those weather impact alert for the threat again of those strong to severe thunderstorms, where we do have that level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk of severe weather, including the eastern portions of the Permian Basin over much of the Big Country and Contra Valley. This is where we can see a bit more in the way of those stronger severe storms possible, and those storms will start off from the dry line, in which we can see where that separation really is going to be, and they'll begin to push more so often towards the east. And with that, that means the highest coverage will be towards the east along into around our southeastern portions, including portions like Fort Stockton, Sanderson, Ozona, San Angelo, Abilene. I think the dry line is really going to be right east or along Midland and Odessa. That's why I'm going with the lower coverage around 20 to 40%, especially the further west that you go, as we'll be working with overall more drier air. So I'm going to top the clock around 4 p.m. We'll start to see a few of those isolated thunderstorms that will be able to develop. And these are going to be the storms where we can see more of that potential tornado threat begin to develop, especially south of the I-20 corridor. I'm going to go ahead and take you to around 7 p.m. That's when the coverage will begin to increase. It'll get into some better moisture into portions of the Big Country, Contra Valley, along into the eastern Permian Basin, where it's just going to be rather just breezy, especially the further west that you go. We'll see these storms congeal more into a line, and at this point, this becomes more of a predominantly wind threat and even isolated hail threat with some brief spin-ups possible. This is what it could look like around 10 p.m. This line of storms will continue to keep pushing off into the east, and with that, it will lose intensity and just be more general showers and thunderstorms. This is around 2 a.m. All of us beginning to dry out and work with some breezy conditions as we head into around Wednesday. Overall rain around 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches across the Big Country, Contra Valley. Isolated totals up to 2 inches, upwards of 1/4 inch into portions of the Permian Basin. So at least working it throughout the next 7 days, pretty much today into around early tomorrow is the only rain chance I have in my forecast, because at least after Wednesday, it is going to be rather quite pleasant onto Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday if you're a fan of the heat. So we'll go back from the 70s on Wednesday, rebounding back to 91 on Saturday. We'll be right back after the break.